On today's Planet of the Apes, Todd's going noteless.
Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape! Exercise with an ape maker, human down. It talks. You're the keepers of the divine bound. It is our only reason for survival. We are determined to know what the apes want, war or peace. The only good human is a dead human!
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, a daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies, 1 minute at a time. I am Noteless Todd, and you are what,
Noteful Sean?
Noteful Sean, and you're what?
I don't know.
Richard.
You're scripted Richard.
I'm Bat-Peen Richard.
How did you know to do the intro without the notes?
I don't know. So if everyone's wondering what this means, I did the notes. When we started this, I could not find my notes document, and when I pulled up the notes document for Escape from the Planet of the Apes, there's nothing there.
Dun, dun,
The
dun.
dog eat your homework.
So I actually had the first 2 minutes, and I've got one note. Yeah, well, he's such a sweet boy. If he wants to eat my notes,
You're like,
he can.
oh.
All right, minute 28. What's going on, Sean?
All right, as of minute 28, we're going to start minute 28 with Zira saying that the orangutans are a bunch of blinkered pseudoscientific geese while a court artist draws her, and ends with Cornelius saying it was enough for us to escape.
All right, let's take a listen to minute 28 of Escape from the Planet of the Apes.
And the orangutans, a bunch of blinkered pseudoscientific geese. As to humans, I've examined thousands of them, and until now, I've only discovered 2 who could talk in my life. God knows who taught them.
Where we come from, apes talk. Humans are dumb.
Where do you come from, Cornelius?
I'm not sure.
Dr. Milo was sure.
Oh. Dr. Milo was a genius well in advance of his time. When the spacecraft first landed on our seaboard, it was Dr. Milo who salvaged it. He studied it and half understood it.
Half? Was half enough?
It was enough for us to escape.
All right, as of minute 28, we have a planet's worth of humans, 2 living apes, and 1 dead ape.
All
Hey,
right, I'm just following you guys now.
So-
I'm noteless. Go.
We got another animal listed here now. We got that their orangutans are geese.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
We know that there are geese in the future.
Okay, but at this point, can I officially now talk about the fact that they can't pronounce orangutan,
Yeah.
even though that is part of their species?
It's spelled orangutans in here.
It has
But
a
he
G
said
in it?
tang.
Right.
Yeah.
So Dane spelled it correctly.
He just said
Roddy McDowell screwed up.
Well, Zira screwed up.
Oh, you're right.
What? Okay, so this is where I was a little confused. All right, so when Cornelius says God created apes in his own image in the previous minute, and that our language, and Zira has to stand up and say nonsense. Now she's saying nonsense to the concept of God, right?
Yes.
Is that what she's doing? Or is she trying to divert
the
the audience's attention away from what's happening? Because then she goes into a little bit of a riff that I don't understand why the audience is laughing at.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, to your first question, she is definitely inserting herself in because she knows that he's going down a bad path for them. Now, where does she get that knowledge, and why does she react like that? Because
you never want to talk politics or religion with strangers.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah.
But
They have that policy at
usually,
home.
for a character to react that way, she would need to send, there would need to be a reverse angle. If she looked back at the audience, they're like, being into murmur. And then
No,
she'd be like, no. But instead, she just jumps in.
And they slowly pull out their
and this is
Bibles.
last minute. She goes nonsense. Right. She's just not having what he's saying, which makes me think that she doesn't believe in God as a scientist. Right.
Yeah, but I definitely, you want to talk about the things I don't think Dane would allow to happen. I don't think, because he wants us to love Zira. And in the 1970s, if you had a character who did not believe in God, No one's loving that character.
But she completely jumps to, and God created apes in her image, and she jumps to, as an intellectual Cornelius, you know damned well that the gorillas are a bunch of militaristic nincompoops, and the orangutans are a bunch of blinkered pseudoscientific geese, and the audience loses it.
Yeah.
The audience laughs at it, and his description is laughter and applause. Is it because she's introducing absurd concepts? Is it because she's saying silly words?
Nincompoop
It's
and all
silly
that kind of
words.
stuff.
Yeah.
And that she's sassy and all of the above. It's a chance for them to appear charming to this audience. And as the audience watching it, it's vastly important that we are charmed by them.
She's now letting them know that chimps, or that orangutans and gorillas exist in their society, right? She's now expanding their world beyond just chimps,
Right.
So we
And
now
geese.
and geese, geese and newts, and what was the other one?
Well, we know they have horses in the future.
Well, yeah, but I mean, just this idea that she's expanding this idea that they have not classes. What's what I'm looking
I
for?
thought you were going to say clap. Did apes get clap?
Well,
That woman in the back did.
well, they get clap on and then they get clap off.
But so she's introducing the concept that they have their societal concept of how they're divided into sex. What's what I'm looking for? Sex, classes,
Yeah,
classes.
Like a caste system.
Right. So she's introducing this concept to this society to humans, and they just laugh at it. It has to be the language. It has to be the fact that she got upset, and they're like, "Oh, she's upset at her husband now." And right, it has to be. That's why they're laughing at it.
Yeah.
The paragraph itself to me is not funny.
I think it's one of those things where you're in your movie with a poet in it, and then they read a piece of poetry, and then somebody else goes, "That's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard." That is saying that is supposed to be beautiful poetry. The audience laughing and is saying to us, we're supposed to enjoy these apes now because our proxy, the audience, is enjoying this.
But it goes back to when you and I spoke, Sean, a minute or two ago about we know so much because of the previous two films. I think this moment is for us, the audience. And the laugh is almost like a laugh track when you watch Friends. Now, it makes no sense when you break it down like this, but if you watch the film, that moment plays for us because we have that knowledge and we know she's right. We cannot eradicate that. We know she's correct in her thoughts and especially what she's saying. So we as human are sheep when it comes to laughter. And if we hear someone else laugh, we laugh along with it. And I think that's really what it is.
Oh, it's awkward, and she's confronting her husband, and she's saying silly words, like that kind of a thing.
That's exactly because he wants to keep things light, and she is so sassy. She has to have the moment of correcting him.
Well, she's introducing. We introduced the idea that they don't know what English is, that they're wedded. We're now introducing the fact that they have systems within their own culture, and Dr. Haslund has just got to be like absorbing every single thing that she's saying.
Oh yeah, especially when she
the next
almost
moment.
slips with
and here we go.
All the humans I studied. Yeah, and you
As
can tell
to
he
humans
saw
I
that.
dissect. As she checks herself, we flash again to the ever alert Haslund.
She might have checked herself, but she may have wrecked herself.
And ding.
This is the moment if we wanted to make Haslund a villain or a watchful overlord or whatever he is,
The antagonist,
this is the thing that he needed.
Yeah.
This is that moment that
They're
he needed
killing
to
us
hear.
in the future.
What I find surprising is he says, examined thousands of them until now I've only discovered 2 who could talk in my lifetime. God knows who taught them. It was just, what am I trying to say? She is really moving deep into who they are and where they are for a conversation that she's not being her better self. She's explaining something that is unexplainable to the people at the board. It just seems like it's very complex. And so I kind of wonder, is this a moment where Dane is letting her just kind of ramble on? Does he have a point? I mean, if he's trying to remind the audience of the previous movies, it's an interesting way of doing it. I don't think it's a bad way of doing it.
Yeah.
But it's almost a little bit of a summary of...
There may be some of that. There may be some of, hey, you're the weird person who didn't see the first 2 films, and we're going to kind of toss these in so you know it. But I also think that this film, when you get down to the economy of filmmaking, beneath took every shortcut it could and tried to throw in this massive story that they really shortcut across the way, and it didn't pay off because you didn't have the elements. This one wants so badly to be economical in the way it tells it that it's being very linear. We're going to and I think it's there is some of that where you're educating the people who haven't seen it, but I think it's also inserting exactly what you said. You've got Haslan, and we need him to be the antagonist at some point. He has to get these little nuggets where he doesn't trust. He's afraid now of where society's headed if he allows them. Because what happens? They're on his Earth. What is he thinking? You're on my Earth now. You're saying in 2,000 years, you're going to take over if I allow you to stay here. You're trouble for me. And I think that's exactly what he's thinking at this point.
We are now getting the admission that humans exist in their society.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then
that's where it came from this.
And then they basically spell out the first movie in 4 words or 5 words. Apes talk, humans are dumb. That's the first movie.
And I said this in pre-pro to you guys. Dumb. Why dumb and not just silent?
Or mute.
Well,
or
because they are unintelligent. They are dumb.
But again, we're talking about the things that you introduce. You don't talk about dissecting humans. You don't talk about putting down their God. When you now insinuate that humans are dumb, if I'm choosing my words in an argument with you or a situation with you and I'm not trying to offend you, I say, but in my world, chimpanzees can speak and humans are mute. That still says exactly what it needs to say, but I haven't called you dumb.
I know dumb is supposed to mean
I think it's a very blunt choice, and I actually kind of like it.
I don't dislike it. I just think
because the audience thought they were dumb 30 seconds earlier. And so now he's basically showing how their society roles are reversed. Again, the whole the slip up of I've dissect and the pause examined thousands of them. So we now know, or at least this audience now knows, there are thousands of humans wherever they come from. Mm-hmm. Humans. And if I were in the audience, my brain would just be exploding right now. There are humans where you come from. You talk. They don't. Did we inhabit another planet? Where's this other planet where there are humans and talking apes?
Okay, so I just looked it up. Just think about this. Escape came out in 1971. In 1969, Pinball Wizard came out, and they said that deaf, dumb, and blind kid. So dumb is in the popular vernacular there for not being able to speak.
Yeah, but I think that's entirely different. I mean, when you put deaf, dumb, then that's that dumb alone insinuates a lack of intelligence. And also, deaf, dumb means the inability to gain it. I mean, to me, it is very different. And look, I'm only picking on the word. I'm only saying, hey, there's a lot of weirdness in this, the choice of that. I find it odd that he would say dumb.
Oh, well. Okay. So,
and by the way, thank you for referencing one of my favorite rock bands.
I know, yeah. I saw you typing.
I was trying to look at what year it came out, just making sure that it didn't come out after this.
So Cornelius lays the truth bomb on them. Where we come from, apes talk and humans can't.
Yeah.
Thank you, Richard.
And then the script instruction is correct. Now Haslan uncoils to put the crucial question, right? And he does. If you notice, he's now seated. He's now calm. He's not talking he's actually talking at a volume that's quieter than the chairman. He says, "Where do you come from, Cornelius?" It's so it's almost a sinister villain. Like there should have been a hiss in his voice.
Right.
"Where do you come from, Cornelius?" Like there was something just very, very matter of fact and calm and cool, particularly from having just stand up a few minutes ago. It's creepy. It's kind of cool. I kind of liked it.
Anyone that's a Young and the Restless fan at this very moment saw their first insertion of Victor Newman. That is such a Victor Newman moment. Very calm. And he just, "Where do you come from, Cornelius?"
Is that what he does?
Oh my God, he's very quiet. And he very rarely.
Well, maybe this won him the role. I mean,
it may have been, but you're absolutely right. It is such a sinister delivery. But at the same time, there's nothing sinister about it.
Well, I mean, and Dane specifically said uncoils.
Mm-hmm.
Like whatever tension he was feeling, he's telling Dr. Haslan we're pulling you back now. You're now the scientist. You're now going to go there. I love that Cornelia says, "I'm not sure." And then Zero jumps in, Dr. Milo was sure. And then she sits down and buries her head in her hand, which is kind of because of the death. Yeah.
And so, he talks about the ship landed on our seaboard. Mm-hmm. So from what we've seen, it looked like the first ship